What's a creepy story you haven't told many people? When I was 8, woke early in the morning after a nightmare about my dad getting buried in the ground. Then I went to the bathroom where I saw my dad, who was abroad at the time, smiling at me in the mirror. I ran and got my sister, who also saw him, but by the time my mother and brother came he was gone. 6 hours later my mom got a call. He had died a few hours ago. It was nice getting to see my dad one last time. He seemed happy. When I was living in Brazil, there was this man we always saw when we drove by anywhere. He was always dressed up as Santa, but we didn't think anything about it because it was December. One day, our neighbors ran to our house, saying that they heard somebody walking inside. We called the cops, and when they entered their house, they found nothing, except a sink that was turned on. They assumed the footsteps they heard was the water hitting the sink. When I was walking back to my house, I looked at the gate that was separating our houses, and I remember seeing that man, the one that was dressed as Santa, climbing the gate from my neighbor's house to ours. I don't remember anything else, but all those events are sealed inside my mind. That time I was a 13-year-old just walking a block away to buy candy at the dollar store in the middle of summer vacation. An odd-seeming adult man complimented me on my hand-me-down purple shorts and blue t-shirt. He wanted to touch my long hair, and I told him no and ran out of the store without buying anything. 5 years later, during another summer after I had already turned 18 years old, and, after getting said by my ex, I was walking from the public library to my friend's house, and a white car pulled out of a driveway a block behind me. The same guy yelled out, "A creepy hi beautiful girl, I remember you from the dollar store," at me. I was sweaty, feeling gross from the summer heat, and I had cut my hair really short, so obviously I didn't look the same anymore. But he still continued to catcall me. I ran down the sidewalk and he literally turned his car to follow me all the way to my friend's house. My friend's boyfriend was there thankfully and got him to go away. Never saw him. What's a creepy story you haven't told many people? A few years ago I was walking through the woods off the beaten track a bit, and I smelt this really overpowering sweet smell. Being nosy, I pulled back the undergrowth to have a look and found a dead body. The guy had clearly been there a while and wasn't looking great, all swollen and green and black with various runny bits. The local wildlife had also been dying well for a few days. I called the police, who told me to wait with the body until they arrived. Being in the middle of nowhere, it took a while for them to arrive, and it got dark, and I was just sat there in the dark with him for a long time. It turned out he had committed suicide. For a long time afterwards I had dreams about him, and he would talk to me, and not nice things. Mainly about how he was angry I had disturbed his resting place and he wanted me to kill myself. Probably just my imagination, but all pretty disturbing at the time. He still turns up in my dreams from time to time, and no doubt will be tonight after typing this. Sister, mother and I rented a holiday home that used to be an old coach house in Cape Town. My sister decided to go out with friends for the night. Later that evening we were getting ready to eat when we hear my sister's voice calling out to us to come to her room, like she wanted to show us something. My mom and I both froze, and when I eventually turned to my mother, she was pale as a sheet. She said to me in a clipped tone, "Don't acknowledge it." My mother is a staunch skeptic, and her reaction, I think, frightened me more than the actual voice. When I was about 11, I was home alone at night. I was walking from the kitchen to the stairway to head upstairs, and along the way, I had to pass the front door, which had windows on either side of it. As I was just starting up the stairs, there was a violent pounding on the front door, which was locked. I turned around to see a man outside pounding very forcefully and angrily on the door. He was wearing a black ski mask. To this day, I honestly cannot explain my behavior, but I just looked at him for a moment, and he looked at me, and then I slowly walked up the stairs as though nothing had happened. I didn't feel scared, just indifferent, like I knew nothing would come of it. The pounding stopped shortly after, and I never even told my parents about this when they got home. I don't know if I've ever told anyone, actually. Please make sure to like, subscribe and comment for more.